Hi, I'm Kaylee, and today I'm going to tell you about some of my plans for my summer reading. In recent months, I have fallen quite a bit behind in a lot of my reading, but especially with review copies that publishers send me. They send me an email asking, "Are you interested in this book?" And I say, "Yes, woo, that's wonderful. Please send me a review copy. That sounds so cool." And then they send it and it sits on a shelf. And the other day, I finally got around to reading a review copy, and then I realized the author sent it to me almost a year ago. It's been like 10 months. And that is just unacceptable, okay? Like, I feel so bad. These poor authors and publishers, I'm making them wait so long. So I determined I am gonna use my free time this summer to just get back on track with reading these review copies. They are just piling up and making me feel so guilty. So before we dive into how I intend to catch up with these review copies, I'm going to reach back here to our Booktuber Shoutout book, and we're going to shout out somebody randomly. Today's shout out goes to Rincey Reads. I'll make sure to leave a link to their channel, so be sure to click on over and subscribe to them. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe to this channel and follow me on Goodreads and Instagram and Storygraph and all the places. So I finally unboxed all these boxes of review copies that were just sitting in my office on the guest bed. Finally got all of those out. I labeled them with who sent them to me, and I put them on my review copy shelf. So now at least everything is out, it's on the shelf, it has little labels that say this is from this publisher, this is from this publicity department, or it has a sticky note on it saying this is from the author, so I just remember who sent what. And it came out to a total of 131 books. Oh my goodness, that is a lot. 131 books, that is just ridiculous. 78 of those are picture books, most of which I received from the Publisher's Spotlight marketing company. So 78 picture books, that's doable, that's a lot, but picture books don't take too long. I could probably read, review, and post all around, post photos on Instagram and all that of a picture book in about 30 minutes. So I usually read through it probably twice, and then I write my review, and then, copy that review over to Storygraph or Goodreads or wherever, and then take a photo of the book and post that on Instagram, and then copy all those links in an email to the publisher to say, "Thank you for the book, here is my review." So all that stuff generally takes about 20 to 30 minutes. So picture books, doable. Takes some time, but doable. And then there are 53 other books. Now, 18 of those are graphic novels, all of which I received from Publisher Spotlight again. And then 35 of those are actual books. So I looked at my summer schedule and determined I want to have read all 131 of these books by the end of the summer, which for me, as far as my work, would be around the second week of August. So I'd like to have these done by the first week of August, and then the second week of August is when the new teaching schedule for the school year comes out and everything. So counting from today, the day that I'm filming this, I'm not sure when this will get edited and posted, but counting from the day that I'm actually filming, that is 71 days. So right now, the last couple weeks of May, I do have some free time because the school year is pretty much over and I haven't started with the new summer schedule yet. So I have about 3 days a week right now when I'm teaching, and 3 days a week that I have off. And then of course I have church on Sundays. And throughout June, I'll also have 3 days a week off. So plenty of time to read. In July, I actually have some new students that are starting in July. And so then I'll only have 2 days a week off in July. And then that second week of August is when we're back teaching every day, working 7 days a week, basically. I do have a much lighter schedule planned than I had this past school year because I was really just running myself into the ground, just way too overpacked of a schedule. So I'm glad to have a break now in the summer, lots of time to read. And then hopefully I will be rejuvenated and ready to dive back in to teaching full-time again in August. So of course, you know, like you do, I did a whole thing, you know, counting up all of the different books and who they're from and putting in the totals and everything, and figuring out that I would have to read at least a book a day of the picture books, because there's 78 picture books in 71 days. So I have to do at least a book a day, a little bit more, you know, here and there. And then I would have to read like 2 of the graphic novels or books every 3 days. That's a lot. The thing is, this is in addition to all the other reading goals that I have. Like, this is just the review copies. Then there's also tons of other reading goals that I have for the year. So it's not like this is it. This is in addition to all the other stuff that I had planned to read in the summer, and things that I plan to read for readathons like Jane Austen July. So considering all of this on top of all my other reading goals, this is ridiculous. This is never going to happen. I don't know why I torture myself like this. But I figure, you know, the saying where you shoot for the moon and you land among the stars. So even if I only do like half of this, I will have made some progress, and at least I'll have kind of, I don't know, just gained some momentum with trying to get these review copies read and reviewed and get them off my plate. So of course I made a little chart, you know, like you do, because I love to have a good chart in my life. So I've just lined up the dates, and I've put a little dot at all the spots where you have to have read something here. So that way, if I work ahead, which I'll probably do especially with the picture books, then I'll be able to tell, oh, I'm ahead. Or if I'm falling behind, then I'll be able to tell, oh boy, you better catch up. So it's not that I actually expect to read a book or a picture book exactly on those dates, but at least this way I have some kind of gauge where I can say, oh, I'm ahead or I'm behind, or I need to do a little more, or I can take a break. So for the picture books, there's a dot for every day to show you need to do a picture book every day. And then for the books, there's a dot like every other day to show, you know, you need to have read a book or a graphic novel every other day, basically. Again, even if I only do half of this, like let's say I get down this column and maybe a little bit of that column, and the rest of it is like, oh, you didn't do it before August. That is fine. That is progress. That is a lot of books read for the summer. So I'm not sticking to this, you know, too closely, but I feel like it would be nice to get all that reading done. And I do have the time. Whenever I have a little bit of time off, I tend to overload with extra projects to fill up the time. But I feel like I need to just focus on my reading this summer. I'm not gonna have a bunch of other things, and a bunch of other projects that I wanna get done. I'm just gonna be like, this is the summer of reading, and I'm just gonna laze around and sit on the couch and read. So hopefully you guys will be hearing about some of the great reading that I have planned for this summer. Please leave a comment and let me know, what are your plans for your summer reading? Have you kind of overloaded yourself with summer reading goals like I have? Or are you just kind of taking it easy this summer and just kind of reading whatever pops up? Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and remember, the right book in the right hands at the right time can change the world.